Feeling that Tang Zichen's words were very useful, Wang Chao took to standing horse stance every morning and evening, digging his toes into the ground, rising and falling, and then looking out as if he were climbing high and looking into the distance. Sure enough, before, he could only perform the stance for more than 10 minutes, but after performing the stance for a day or two, he was able to hold on for 30 minutes without exerting any effort. Moreover, Wang Chao felt that his toes, calves, waist and abdomen were becoming more and more flexible. After performing the stance every night, he slept very soundly, almost until dawn. After 5 or 6 days, Wang Chao continued to perform the stance regularly in the morning and evening. During class, he always raised his buttocks and sat on his seat. When he was writing, his body also imitated Tang Zichen's gentle movements like waves, ups and downs. Fortunately, Wang Chao has average grades and sits a few rows behind. The ups and downs are very slight, and the teachers did not notice. In particular, Wang Chao is silent and introverted. He had been in high school for more than a year, and he can't even name most of his classmates and has no close friends. However, in this way, he was at peace and lived in his own world every day. After 10 days of continuous ups and downs, Wang Chao was able to maintain the stance in class for 45 minutes straight. 10 minutes between classes, Wang Chao took a break. As soon as he starts a class, he would start performing the stance. At the end of the day, including self-study in the morning and evening, Wang Chao spent 10 hours in total performing the horse stance. In the last few days, Wang Chao's conviction was akin to addiction. Even when walking, he would first lift his feet and grit his toes, then his body would rise and fall, and he would walk forward step by step. This posture was a bit weird and people often gossiped about it behind his back at school, but Wang Chao ignored it. Time flew by quickly, half a month passed in a blink of an eye, and Wang Chao felt that his legs and waist are full of energy. There was a flag-raising platform in front of the school that was as high as his neck. Wang Chao didn't need to perform a run-up and was able to leap on top of it. When the day came to meet Tang Zichen, Wang Chao got up early in the morning and hurried to the old place in the park before dawn. Tang Zichen had already been waiting there. Still wearing white sportswear and looking kind. Seeing Wang Chao running over, Tang Zichen's eyes seemed to light up. I didn't expect you to achieve such results in just half a month. You have already integrated the stance into your walking posture. When Wang Chao heard this, he just giggled and said, "What does Sister Chen want to teach me today?" "Yeah. You are a pragmatic person. No matter what you are learning, you must be obsessed with it in order to achieve results. It seems that you are qualified to learn my national arts." Tang Zichen looked at Wang Chao, as if she had discovered a piece of fine jade. "Come, let's talk first." Tang Zichen sat down on a stone bench and asked, "Do you know what are the origins of national arts?" Wang Chao shook his head. At the end of the Qing dynasty, the revolutionaries led by Sun Yat-sen assassinated high-ranking Manchu officials and even princes. Most of them relied on the efforts of people in the martial arts world. Later, when the Republic of China was established and the Japanese invaded China, in order to strengthen the country and its people, Sun Yat-sen, Feng Yuxiang and others vigorously promoted martial arts. The government established the Central Martial Arts Center to integrate martial arts from various schools, such as School of Form and Meaning, Tai Chi, School of 8 Trigrams, Northeastern Martial Arts, Mantis Form Martial Arts, Tong Bei Fist, School of 8 Extremes, Stabbing Foot Arts, Hong Fists, Iron Wire Arts, Pigua Arts, Tantue Kicks, and Wrestling, various martial arts which are collectively called national arts. Strong nation, strong people. Wang Chao chewed these 4 words carefully, and the history of that era came to his mind. In that era, talents emerged in large numbers. Now, more than 100 years later, there are very few left. Tang Zichen said, sounding dejected, "Come on, I will teach you a practical trick today. You try and catch me from behind." Tang Zichen gestured to Wang Chao and asked Wang Chao to grab her shoulders from behind. When Wang Chao saw that Tang Zichen was facing away from him, he immediately grabbed Tang Zichen's shoulder as he was told. Tang Zichen turned around slightly, and the tip of her right elbow was like a spear, hitting Wang Chao's chest. This was just a practice move. Tang Zichen moved very slowly, so Wang Chao had time to react. He instinctively pushed his hands forward to block Tang Zichen's elbow. As soon as Wang Chao's elbow touched, Tang Zichen's forearm flicked down like a whip, and her palm, directly aiming for Wang Chao's crotch. This time it was fast and urgent, and the change in power suddenly surged. Before Wang Chao could react, Tang Zichen's palm had already reached his lower body. Wang Chao was startled. He felt a cold air rising from his tailbone to the back of his head, and goosebumps appeared all over his body. Turn around, hit with the elbow, and attack the crotch. Tang Zichen grasped the strength very well, and immediately stopped as soon as her palm was about to touch. Wang Chao looked strange and murmured, "Sister Chen, what's the name of this move?" Tang Zichen smiled brightly. "This move is called Yin Palm in the School of 8 Trigrams. The same move is called Ring-Turning Fist in the School of Form and Meaning, and Body-Turning Punch in Tai Chi." Tang Zichen explained the key points of this move. Fist techniques have all evolved from the art of spear fighting. This move may seem like a simple turn around and throw your arm out. In fact, it requires 2 punches. The elbow strike should be piercing like a spear. If there is a block, follow through with an attack towards the lower body. In ancient times, generals used spears on the battlefield. When piercing an enemy, if the strike is blocked, the spear tip will rebound and knock down the enemy's weapons because the barrel of the spear was elastic. When performing this move, it must have the essence of flashing a spear. Watch how I do it. Tang Zichen demonstrated again. After the elbow hit, she swung her forearm down. There was a pop crisp sound from her clothes, like a whip striking in the air. With the final blow to the low body, you have to throw out this crisp force with your arm. This is when you have mastered it. This is from the tombstone throwing hand in Tongbei fist. Okay, go back and practice this move for the next 3 days. I will teach you something else after that. After Tang Zichen finished teaching, she left. For 3 days in a row, Wang Chao was carefully thinking about this Yin Palm. However, no matter how hard he hit, he could not replicate Tang Zichen's whip-cracking sound in the air. 3 days later, Wang Chao inquired Tang Zichen about this. After hearing this, Tang Zichen burst into laughter. "You little fool, you have just started and you want to develop crisp strength, that's not possible. There are 3 levels of force in martial arts: light force, dark force, and transformation force. The peak of light force is been able to produce this crisp sound, by then you will be considered a martial arts master. Your current strength is far from enough. You have just taken the first step of a 1,000-mile-long journey. Little fool, let's not talk about this, I will teach you another thing today." The move Tang Zichen taught today was to suddenly squat down with the left hand grabbing towards an opponent's crotch, placing the right hand behind his crotch, with palms pressed against the ground. This squatting move with one hand on the crotch is a killer move in Tai Chi. It is also a variation of the Yin Palm from the School of 8 Trigrams. It is also known as the monkey stealing peach, one of the 12 forms from the School of Form and Meaning. Wang Chao learned 2 things in the past few days. The moves are all about grabbing the crotch, and are extremely vicious. What is sister's background, he thought. Little fool, watch out, if you grab towards your opponent and they move back to protect their crotch, your hand pressing on the ground will immediately grab sand from the ground and toss towards the enemy's face. Previously, the Tai Chi Grandmaster Yang Lechen crouched down to grab the sparrow with his left, and grabbed a handful of divine sand to toss with his right. This has defeated many masters. Wang Chao knew who Yang Lechen was. A few years ago, the TV hit The Master of Tai Chi starring Wu Jing, in which the protagonist Yang Yuqian was based on Yang Lechen, the top master of Tai Chi in the late Qing dynasty, and the most legendary senior in the history of Chinese national arts. Catch the sparrow, catch the sand, this. Wang Chao suddenly thought, the ground is full of cement, what can we do without sand? Little fool, the monkey squats down with its tail raised to maintain balance. Humans don't have a tail. When using this move, the hand is used to maintain balance like a monkey using its tail. When you squat and grab your opponent's crotch, but fail to do so, he will kick you with his feet. At this point, use your hand to push yourself up and out of the way. The monkey squats down and uses its tail to balance itself. If it fails to catch the sparrow, it can still grab some sand. Even if there is no sand to grab, it can still prevent others from kicking. This move is really despicable. Wang Chao felt that the image of Tai Chi in his mind was shattered. Silly boy, fighting is not for show, nor is it for practice. Fighting is about life and death. Attacking the vulnerable parts of the human body. In a life and death struggle, who will even consider whether a move is despicable? Tang Zichen stood up. Okay, I will tell you today that there are 3 forms of martial arts, one is fighting form, one is practice form, and the other is performance form. Don't look at those who practice Tai Chi and move slowly and smoothly. Those are all performance forms, not even practice form. There are very few people who know the real Tai Chi style. Fighting form, practice form, and performance form, are there so many variations? Wang Chao felt that his sister's words could always take him into a whole new realm. Tai Chi seems to be gentle and stresses the importance of moving 1,000 pounds with 4 ounces, but in fact it is just superficial. Tai Chi's fighting form is the most forceful. This fierce force can be found from the word bash. You see, the frame of Tai Chi, carry block bash and turning bash. Tang Zichen made 2 movements, both of which were violent swings, and her whole arm made a snapping sound, as if the air had been blown away. When Wang Chao saw it, he was frightened and thought, if this bash hits someone on the body, will he be even okay? In ancient times, the generals who wielded hammers were all fierce men. Look at the first hero, Li Yuanba, in the romance of the Sui and Tang dynasties. He was unchallenged with 2 sledgehammers. When Tai Chi seniors created fist arts, they borrowed the power of the novel, so naturally they wanted to use the most powerful force and naturally it's named bash. Qing Tinghua, a famous school of 8 trigrams master at that time, said that when practicing 8 trigram palm, it is like pushing a mountain and hitting people with a whip. Shang Yunxiang, a master of school of form and meaning, said that when practicing, use force not strength, when hitting, use strength and use less force. This refers to the difference between fighting form and practice form. What I have taught you in the past few days, such as Yin Palm and Monkey Stealing Peach, are fighting forms, they techniques used in fighting with others. They cannot be used to increase body strength or physical strength. What is use strength? What is exerting force? Wang Chao asked. Strength is inertia, a sudden explosion. Tang Zichen made another gesture, swinging his arm out of the air. When you're using strength, you have to be fast, fierce, and quick. Force is when the muscles are tightened and moved slowly. As she spoke, Tang Zichen gestured again, as if she were grinding a mill or squeezing water out of a sponge. When exerting force, be slow, calm, and steady. Fast, fierce, and fast. Slow, calm, and steady. Wang Chao digested these 6 words carefully and understood the difference between strength and force. After Tang Zichen finished her gesture, she sat down and said, "Come on, you can practice Monkey Stealing Peach for 3 days. Once you are proficient, I will officially teach you new things." Wang Chao nodded and practiced. For the next 3 days, he would hide out at night, where there are no people, practicing Yin Palm and Monkey Stealing Peach repeatedly. Especially the Monkey Stealing Peach, this move is very difficult when squatting, and the leg muscles are stretched out painfully. However, after Wang Chao stood in the horse stance for half a month, the strength and flexibility of his waist and leg muscles, soles and toes increased greatly. While practicing the Monkey Stealing Peach posture, he squatted thousands of times and finally became proficient with it. 3 days later, Wang Chao saw Tang Zichen again in the park.